You're thirsty.
You're not hungry, are you?
Thank you. How many of you saw the chicken and the beef demonstration? Okay. The turkey is basically very similar to it, except this one, after you bake it, you let it rest for an hour, and then you simmer it for an hour. That makes it a little more juicy. If you want to do that to the beef and chicken, you can. I like the texture a little more dense, so it's up to you. I've got the, I always use a Bosch because it kneads it better. You can knead it by hand, but it's going to take you about 10 minutes. This will take you about 4 minutes in the Bosch. This is the 3 cups of gluten flour. Oh, and I'll warn you, there are some typos in these recipes. And on the Monterey Jack, well, I'll tell you that later at the next class. This is the cornstarch, the chicken bouillon, the vegan, the onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, and the poultry seasoning. It all goes in with the gluten flour. And then I just like to whisk it a little bit to get it all mixed together. Okay, now that's ready to go. The liquid ingredients. This bowl has the extra firm tofu, and you need to press it. And you can press it by putting it on a plate on about 4 or 5 paper towels, putting 4 or 5 paper towels on top of it, and then set like a 5-pound weight on top of it. And let it press for about 20 minutes and get as much water out as you can. And if that doesn't work, you can always wrap it in paper towels and squish it. And because it's going to get crumbled up anyway. And then there is 2 cups, and you can use 1 can of cannellini beans, or you can cook your beans. And you can use navy beans, Great Northern, any white bean will work. And put them in with the tofu. There's nutritional yeast in here also. And then the olive oil. Oh, and the miso was in here also. Cannellini beans, miso, olive oil, and then I've got 1 3/4 cups of water. And you want this to be completely liquefied. It's going to get noisy. And then you let it mix on the 4th speed, speed number 4, for about 4 minutes. piece of foil about 20 inches long and a piece of parchment paper.
Same.
And thanks. That the Nicole, the long one. Doing this on tablecloth is not a good idea. Okay. Okay. Okay, it needs a little bit more. You want to work it until it no longer pulls apart.
In the kitchen for you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, it's ready now. That's okay, thanks. You want to use heavy-duty foil when you do this because the regular foil is going to tear. And if it tears, it's not going to bake properly. If it bothers you to have foil touch your food, just put a piece of parchment on there. It'll hold in moisture more if you use the parchment, but it won't affect the texture of the end product. And all you want to do is just kind of shape it into an oval. And then just wrap the parchment around it. Fold this over. Fold that one over. And put it seam down on the foil. The foil, you want to wrap it over twice. And you want to make it like a tent because it's going to expand as you bake it. And the ends, just crimp them together and fold them up. And then it goes into an oven, 350 degrees, on the middle rack of the oven. Just set it right on the rack. Let it bake for 1 hour. Take it out, turn it over, and bake it for another hour. And then you want to take a thermometer and just open up the center and stick a meat thermometer in there, and it needs to register 180 degrees. Then you'll know it's done inside. And if it's not, just let it cook a few minutes longer until it gets there. But usually 2 hours is sufficient for it. Now, the thing that's different about this is that you boil it, you let it rest for an hour after you've baked it, and then you unwrap it, and then you want to poke holes in it with a fork, like 5 or 6 holes on the 2 flat sides and about 3 holes on the sides. That'll help it to soak up some of the simmering broth. And then the recipe for the simmering broth is down there. Did you guys like the gravy?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that was made out of the simmering broth. So, and then it's completed on the back. And then you can rub it. If you want to brown it, we didn't brown these. We just sliced it up and put it in the oven with some of the broth and heated it up in the oven. Did it get hot clear through? Oh, okay. You can take 1/4 cup of refined coconut oil and melt it, and then let it cool off. Add your poultry seasoning, some Celtic salt, and if you want to put black pepper in it, you can. You don't have to, it's optional. And you just rub it all over and put it in a skillet and just lightly brown it on all sides, and then slice it. You can leave it whole and put it in the oven, or you can slice it up like we did. We slice it up because there's so many to serve, and it makes it quicker and easier to heat it up. But if you want to present it as a roast, just go ahead and brown it and just put it whole on the platter. And then if you wanted to surround it with vegetables, you could. Any questions? What? Oh. Okay. Yes?
I wish I had 5 stomachs.
Oh. You'd almost be a cow then. I think they have 3. How many are staying for the second class? Oh, okay. What? Oh, we do have room. We have plenty of room. So, okay. Well, finish enjoying your meal. Mm-hmm.